Our different strategy will be a 6-back formation. That means that our middle will be playing in zone 6. The middle player will be covering the far back of the court, while the other 2 back row players will be covering the middle back area. This formation on the screen indicates that we have successfully put the ball on the opposite side. The other team is playing the ball and will be attacking, and we will be defending. You will need to read the other team's play so you can move as fast as possible to the proper position. This means that you need to read which area the other team is attacking from. The other team could attack from our right side, from the middle, or from our left side. They could also be attacking from their back court via a pipe play, an A or a C play. When the other team is attacking from our right side, our formation will be as follows. Our front court players will be at the net ready to block, and our back court players are ready to pass and dig any ball that comes our way. Remember, the ball can come back to our side of the court on the first, the second, or the third touch. Normally, the second touch will come from their setter. So when the ball is passed to their setter, our left side and middle blocker need to be anticipating that play. Our left back player also needs to be ready to dig that ball in case the setter dumps the ball. In this case, our back row power will have to move slightly in front, anticipating the play, and then move back once he knows the ball is going to another player. Let's review first our position when the other team is attacking on the right side. When the ball goes to the setter and then he sets to our right side, our opposite player will have a 2-step approach to block. Our middle will have a 3-step approach to block. Our block needs to be synchronized. That means that both players need to jump at the same time. We also need to ensure that there is no gap between our 2 blocker players. Our front row power will move away from the net to cover any ball inside the attack line and tips over our block. Our block should be able to cover the area inside this diagonal line. This season, we will be blocking cross-court hits, so we will leave the right line open. Our back row player on the right side will move to cover the line hits. Our back row power will be ready to receive any hard hit balls coming from the attacker. And our front court power will move around this area to dig any tips and any other ball in his area of responsibility. Sometimes our block can deflect the ball and land inside our attack area, and we need to be ready to cover for that too. Our back right side player will also need to read the play and anticipate tips over our block. Our middle in zone 6 will stay back and will receive any balls that go over the block or through the block. Our blockers sometimes will be able to deflect the ball to the backcourt area, which is covered by the 6-back player. The ball can also be deflected by our player in zone 5. In that case, our 6-back player will need to run to put that ball back in system. The same situation happens when the ball gets deflected by our zone 1 player. Again, our 6-back player will chase that ball and try to put it back in system. So that is our formation when the other team is attacking from our right side. When the other team is hitting on our left side, the same principles apply. The power will block with a 2-step approach. The middle will block with a 3-step approach, and synchronized will jump to block. Again, remember that we are blocking cross-court hits. Our player in zone 5 will cover hits along the left line. The area that our block intends to cover is inside the 2 lines drawn in this picture. Our middle in zone 6 will read the play and move accordingly. Our player in zone 1, which in this case is our setter, but it could be our opposite player, will cover any hard hit balls along this diagonal line. Our player in zone 2 will move away from the net to cover any tips or any balls inside the attack line. We move our player to this position also because it is very difficult for the hitters to place the ball close to the net inside the attack area. So we are expecting that the ball will be landing somewhere in the attack area behind our block in zones 3 or 4. The power in zone 5 will need to read the play in the case the hitter decides to tip over our block, and then we'll need to move to zone 4 to dig that ball. If the opponent's attack comes through the middle, we will use a 2-player block. Our middle player will be our primary blocker, assisted by our power player. Our opposite player in zone 2 will move away from the net to cover any tips behind our block. This move needs to be fast upon reading the play. Our power in zone 5 will read the play, and in case of any tips will move to dig in zone 4. Our middle back also reads the play and moves slightly to the left or to the right, anticipating the direction of the ball. And our player in zone 1 will cover all this area, expecting hard hit balls as well. The area that our block is intending to cover is inside the 2 lines drawn in this picture. The corner areas are always difficult to cover, so we are counting on players in zone 5 and zone 1 to deflect the balls so our middle player in zone 6 can run and put the balls back in system. When the ball is being hit from the back court from the opponent's side, again, we will need to read that play. If the ball is coming from our right side, the middle and the opposite player will need to block, and our backcourt players will be responsible for passing that ball and putting it in system. If the ball is being attacked from our left side, it will be our power and the middle going for that block. Our back row players will be responsible for getting that ball back in system. The most important part is that you are always 1. In the correct position, 2. Ready to block, pass, dig, and 3. Able to read the play and anticipate. Remember that the ball can come back to our court on the first, second, or third touch, and you need to be ready and not be surprised by the opponent. This video is for your general information only. There might be some things I left out, but questions can be addressed at practice. See you in the gym.